Previously, Subai met his roommates, and Lin visited him, making some of the dorm guys jealous. Later, Han took them to dinner, and Su asked for help selling some beast blood. Han's father and Master Cow arrived, recognizing the blood's rarity. Han's father then invited Su to join his family, but Lin quickly intervened, revealing that Su wouldn't join. This was when Han's father discovered Lin was the daughter of someone powerful. Now to this week's chapter. Han's father explains that it is all a misunderstanding, saying his son and Subai are classmates and good friends. She ignores him, goes straight to Subai, and asks if he is finished here. She suggests they head back to the school together. He agrees, saying he just wrapped up some business. She then pulls him away, while he thanks Han's father, who responds by telling him to take care. Han starts to call out, wanting to follow, but his father stops him. He emphasizes the importance of maintaining a good relationship with Subai, stating that the future of their family depends on it. He sternly demands that Han keep a safe distance from Lin and always show respect. Han, left confused, remarks that Subai seemed like an ordinary person and admits he had no idea those two were that impressive. 2 days pass, and the students gather at the Marshall University. A teacher announces that there will be special training over the next few days for the first-year students. He explains that they will be heading to the battlefield of all races. One student questions why they are going there so soon, while another asks if their lives will be at risk during the training. The teacher reassures them, explaining that the area they are going to has already been cleared to ensure their safety. He then explains that the students will be divided into groups of 50, with each group led by a bronze-level instructor who will serve as their homeroom teacher and provide further details. The teacher wishes the first-year students success and says he looks forward to their triumphant return. The students began chatting excitedly about the mission, while Lin hurried over to Subai, smiling. She announced that she had been assigned to the same class as him. Subai chuckled and asked if she had arranged it on purpose. The others grew animated at the sight of Lin, but before anyone could say more, a woman approached them. She called for Class 8 to gather and stepped forward, introducing herself as Liao Yuxin, their special training instructor. While she spoke, most of the boys seemed more focused on her beauty than her words. Liao Yuxin explained that she would be assigning their training tasks for the mission. However, many of the boys were still distracted by her appearance, with one even whispering that she was stunning. Liao Yuxin then announced that their first task was to write a will. The students immediately began to panic, questioning why they needed one. She simply walked away, telling them they had 1 day to write their will and to be at the teleport plaza by 8 AM the next day, ready for the mission. One student questioned if they were truly risking their lives, expressing a desire to carry on their family name. Another quickly suggested they should get started. Lin then asked Subai if he had any plans, and he replied that he didn't have much to prepare and would head to the dorm. She said she would see him tomorrow. Meanwhile, Han, excited for the battlefield, turned to his roommates and urged them to get ready for what was to come. Back at the dorm, Han suggested taking everyone out for a good time since they were heading to the battlefield the next day. He encouraged Subai to join them, but Subai declined, saying he had things to do. Han then told him to call if he needed anything, and Subai agreed. Just then, Han tapped the turtle's back and remarked that Subai's pet's shell was really strong. Subai nodded, saying it helped, and explained that the turtle's name was Little 8 and that it loved to eat. Han found it interesting. The three of them then waved goodbye to Subai, with Han wishing them a good time. Subai looked down at Little 8 and said he would let it eat as much as it wanted, but once they reached the battlefield, it better perform well. Little 8, eager to eat, quickly dug in. Subai chuckled and told it to slow down, assuring the turtle that no one was going to take its food. The system announced that Little 8 had leveled up to a high-rank ordinary exotic beast, and its level had increased. It gained 3 new skills: Skin Defense, which consumes some stamina to enhance defense from 50% to 100%. Shell Defense, which increases defense by 300% when hidden in its shell but prevents movement or attack. And Heavy Strike, which consumes stamina to boost attack power from 100% to 200%, depending on how much stamina is used. Another window popped up, showing that Subai's level had also reached the ordinary high tier, along with his new stats and Little 8's updated stats. Seeing the level up, Subai smiled and commented that the potions he had been giving Little 8 really helped. He then said that once they reached the battlefield, they would put on a show. The next day at the portals, an instructor called out for all the trainees to get ready for battle. One instructor responded, saying they were ready, while the person he was speaking to reminded him to get teleportation gate 1 ready. The instructor nodded in understanding. As the students lined up to get ready, one remarked that only the Martial University could have such a large portal. Meanwhile, Lin told Subai to stay safe once they reached the battlefield. He looked back at her and reminded her that the area had already been cleared, so they would be safe. His teacher then called for everyone to get ready as the teleportation started. They arrived on the other side, and the students were all excited to finally be on the battlefield. As the students looked around, one commented in disbelief that they were really there, while another was amazed by the sheer number of portals. Their teacher, however, told them all to quiet down as she stood firm and apologized to the lieutenant, explaining that the students were rookies and had not seen much yet. A battle-worn figure looked at them and introduced himself as the deputy lieutenant of the military base they were at. He told them they could refer to him as Sir or Deputy Lieutenant and made it clear that everyone on his base would follow his orders. He then asked if they understood, to which they all agreed. The Deputy Lieutenant continued, saying they were lucky as his team had just returned from battle. Han, curious, wondered who the man was and if he was someone special. Subai explained that the lieutenant had many scars on his face, indicating he had a wealth of battle experience. The lieutenant then announced that their first task was to clear the battlefield. He explained that while they were clearing, they might need to take down some remaining phantom cats. He advised them to get ready for a real taste of the battlefield. He explained that taking down beasts would earn them military merit points, which they could use at the logistics department for a variety of items, ranging from potions of blood vitality to different elixirs. Dao, excited, remarked that gaining rewards always came with risk, while Han nodded, now understanding why so many people came to the battlefield. The lieutenant walked ahead, pleased with their excitement, and announced that they were moving out and to follow him. The students raised their hands with joy, while Subai thought to himself that he needed to earn points to level up Little 8. As they walked, the lieutenant pointed to the wounded, who had just returned from the battlefield, their cries of pain echoing in the air. Dao asked if the phantom cats were the cause of the injuries, while Han responded confidently that those cats were weak and couldn't have caused such wounds. Another student started to panic, questioning if they were going to make it back, but the class teacher immediately told them to stop talking. She reminded them that this was not a playground but a battlefield, and since they had enrolled, they needed to understand the dangers of this place. Meanwhile, Lin turned to Subai and told him to stay close to her at all times, not wanting anything to happen to him. Subai agreed, thinking to himself that he needed to stay alert at all times while on the battlefield. Just then, one of the staff members reported that his team had taken care of the northern gate, having taken down 35 beasts that attacked, and was now waiting for orders. The lieutenant praised them for their work and instructed them to open the gate, saying he wanted to show the new recruits what a real battlefield looked like. The staff member agreed and opened the gate. The teacher then commented that the lieutenant would be accompanying them, and they should all pay attention, as this would be a rare experience. The lieutenant reminded them to stay on guard, as they were now on the battlefield, where anything could happen. They all passed through the gate, and the scene before them was a chaotic battlefield, with the front line already engaged in combat, fighting off the beasts attacking the gate. One student couldn't believe this was what a battlefield really looked like. A soldier spotted the lieutenant and made his way over to him. He greeted the lieutenant but asked why he had arrived in person. The lieutenant immediately ordered him to gather a group of soldiers to help protect the batch of students, to which the soldier agreed. Their teacher informed them that they were heading to a forest area where most of the monsters had already been dealt with. Their mission was to retrieve the monster cores from the beasts there. The lieutenant called out, asking if they were ready, and the students all responded with a firm agreement. The lieutenant gave the order to move out, and the soldier instructed the strike force to follow and protect the students. As they walked toward the location, the soldier turned to Liao and told her to relax, assuring her that there was no danger in the area since it had already been cleared. He then questioned why the lieutenant had come himself, suggesting that sending the rookies out there was a waste of his time and asking why he was leading the team. The lieutenant calmly told him to stop asking questions. She thanked the lieutenant for his help, but he replied that it was nothing, as these were the new warriors who would protect the city in the coming years, and it was his duty to ensure their growth. Meanwhile, at the main headquarters of the military, a soldier shouted that there was a problem. Another person immediately instructed him to speak. The soldier explained that a large group of beasts had broken through their defenses, including 12 golden-level beasts, and were now attacking military camps as they headed southwest. The person in charge quickly ordered that they monitor the direction the beasts were heading and ensure all bases were informed. He emphasized that the new students were also in that area and needed to be protected at all costs, as they were the future. The soldier nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, they arrived at the area, and the teacher stated that they needed to clear out the beast cores as quickly as possible. The lieutenant agreed, saying that the area would only remain safe for so long. They began their mission, and Lin commented to Subai that the hides, claws, and teeth of the phantom cats could be made into valuable items or equipment. Subai nodded, understanding why so many people came to the battlefield, and added that little 8 would enjoy these beasts. Subai mentioned that he had already collected a few materials and that little 8 would level up again after dealing with these beasts. Suddenly, a system window appeared, warning him that he was in danger. It stated that a horde of human cats was heading his way at incredible speed, only 3 kilometers away, coming from the southwest. The window also rated the threat level between 4 and 5 stars. Realizing the severity of the situation, Subai quickly understood that this was a warning, and he needed to inform the teacher immediately. Subai rushed over to the teacher and told her there was a problem. Lin, confused, asked what was wrong, and he explained that he sensed a large horde of monsters heading toward them from the southwest. The teacher looked down at him, then scanned the direction he pointed to, seeing nothing. She jumped down and scolded him, saying this wasn't a game and that his warning could cause mass panic. Subai, however, insisted it wasn't a joke and that the horde was real. The lieutenant chimed in, stating that he couldn't sense any monsters within a 2-kilometer radius. Subai firmly replied that he wasn't joking, explaining that over 100 beasts were heading toward them and were about 3 kilometers away. The lieutenant didn't believe Subai and questioned if his senses were sharper than his own. The teacher agreed, saying that Subai was overreacting and advising not to waste time on it. However, Lin intervened, telling the lieutenant not to make a judgment too quickly and suggesting that they send someone to verify if Subai's warning was true. She added that she trusted Subai's words. Just then, Subai called out to everyone, insisting they believe him because a horde of beasts was heading their way. He explained that he knew this because he was a beast tamer, and from his class, he had extraordinary senses for danger. The teacher, shocked, remarked that the school hadn't shown any mention of such a class on his records. Subai explained that he had entered through a guaranteed spot and hadn't taken the test. One of the students questioned him, saying they had never seen him tame a beast. Just then, soldiers from the strike force confirmed Subai's warning, stating that a horde of beasts was indeed heading their way. The lieutenant screamed at everyone to get into a defensive formation, and they all rushed to position. He ordered one of the soldiers to contact the base for help, but the soldier quickly replied that he had already done so. Unfortunately, the base was already surrounded on all sides and couldn't offer assistance. The teacher questioned if there were truly over 100 beasts and began to worry, stating that without help, things could end badly since the students weren't combat ready yet. The lieutenant, however, confirmed that Subai was correct, as he could sense a horde of beasts approaching quickly. He then ordered for soldiers to protect the students, but Subai offered to help. Suddenly, a massive roar echoed as a cat beast at the bronze stage appeared, followed by many other beasts charging toward them. The lieutenant immediately ordered his soldiers to attack, but the battle quickly turned chaotic as some soldiers were already taken down. The lieutenant barked orders for his team to stay in formation, while the teacher tried to reassure them, stating that they only needed to defend against the first wave and they should be able to defeat the beasts. The teacher screamed, asking if the students remembered their vow. Just then, some of the beasts managed to break past the first soldiers, and one of them shouted for the students to watch out. As the beasts got closer, the students shouted in unison, declaring that their will was their strength and that their country would never fall. At that moment, 2 arrows flew overhead, striking a few of the beasts. The students looked up to see the figures arriving, clearly ready to protect them. It was 2 students who arrived just in time. The archer, Zhang Mani, was in the early bronze stage and called out to Luo Yongxiang, telling him to keep the beasts busy while she handled them. Luo, also in the early bronze stage, was already taking down a beast as they both prepared to fight. The teacher looked back and praised Zhang Mani and Luo Yongxiang, commenting that this year's batch of students was truly interesting. Su Bai, observing them, thought that Luo was not only powerful but also handsome. He then reminded himself that his only weapon was Little 8, who he hoped would be enough. The students called out in excitement, with one exclaiming that Zhang Mani was like a goddess and another commenting on Luo's incredible power. However, their celebration was short-lived, as a massive roar echoed through the battlefield. The deafening sound caused everyone to cover their ears, bracing for what was coming next. The cat beast stopped attacking and turned to face one direction as a shadow emerged from the darkness. One of the students screamed in fear, recognizing the creature as the king of the cats, a beast at the golden stage. The Cat King stood proudly, ready to attack. The lieutenant, still engaged in combat, questioned why a Cat King was here and quickly ordered that they inform the base. He knew the situation had escalated. However, Luo Yongxiang, undeterred, charged forward, dismissing the Cat King as a weak foe. Zhang Mani, prepared to assist, called out that she would keep it still. The teacher screamed at them to back off, warning them that they couldn't handle such a powerful opponent, but it was too late. The Cat King dashed forward, easily knocking Luo and Mani down with its overwhelming power. The teacher screamed for Luo and Mani to fall back, but the lieutenant quickly called out to his team, ordering them to provide covering fire. However, the Cat King seemed unfazed by the barrage of attacks. With incredible speed, it dashed toward the two students who had dared to attack it, ready to return the favor with even greater force. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like. It really helps me out.